Bangladesh could be out of the T20 World Cup before a single ball has been bowled. And that's not hyperbole. That's the reality of the situation right now. This is one of the strangest and most serious standoffs in recent cricket memory. And it's not just about cricket, it's about security concerns, political tension, and questions of fairness and consistency in how sport is governed. Let's break it down. The 2026 T20 World Cup is scheduled to start on the 7th of February, co-hosted by India and Sri Lanka. Bangladesh are drawn in Group C and are supposed to play all their matches in Kolkata and Mumbai. That's their group matches. But here's where it gets complicated. In early January, a controversy involving Bangladesh's star fast bowler Mustafizur Rahman ignited new tensions. He was released from his IPL 2026 squad by his franchise on instruction from the BCCI, reportedly linked to broader diplomatic strains between Bangladesh and India, though no official explanation was ever given. Now, Bangladesh's government then banned the IPL broadcast from within its own country, and the Bangladesh Cricket Board, the BCB, sent a formal request to the ICC asking to move all of their World Cup matches out of India and into Sri Lanka. The BCB's argument has been straightforward. They do not feel comfortable or secure sending their team to India right now, and they believe the current environment poses risks, whether those risks are political, public sentiment-based, or genuinely security-related. The ICC responded with independent security assessments and says those assessments show no credible threat to Bangladesh or their team in India. And on that basis, the ICC rejected Bangladesh's request to move the matches. The ICC also said that making late alterations to the schedule could jeopardize the sanctity and planning of the tournament, a tournament that is already locked in, broadcast deal signed, logistics planned, and venues prepared. So now Bangladesh face a stark choice: travel to India and play as scheduled, or risk being replaced in the tournament altogether. That alone is huge, but here's the latest twist. The BCB is now publicly accusing the ICC of double standards in how it's handling their case, specifically pointing to past ICC decisions where match venues were changed due to geopolitical concerns involving other teams, most notably with India and Pakistan. This accusation is intended to underline that Bangladesh don't see their request as unreasonable, they see it as consistent with precedent. Now, to be clear, calling out double standards is not the same as launching a political attack. It's a governance critique. Bangladesh believe that because the ICC has altered venues in the past in other contexts, they should show similar understanding now. The BCB president, Aminul Islam, has even asked for one final round of talks with the interim government back home before they formally confirm their stance with the ICC, hoping for what he called a miracle. And here's the thing, the players themselves want to play in the World Cup. Of course they do. It's a World Cup. The captain and senior players have repeatedly said they don't want to miss out, but they're caught in a situation where the board and government are saying they simply can't commit to traveling under current conditions, and that takes precedence. Now, from the ICC's perspective, they're saying, well, we looked at the security data. It doesn't show a threat that justifies moving fixtures. We have to stick to the schedule. From Bangladesh's perspective, the situation is about much more than a risk assessment on paper. It's about context, public sentiment, and player well-being. And that's at the very heart of this impasse that we're at now. At this point, with the tournament now weeks away, the clock is ticking. If Bangladesh stand firm, the ICC could very well replace them. Scotland has been specifically mentioned as a likely last-minute replacement if Bangladesh don't travel to India. If Bangladesh do agree to travel, they'll face intense internal scrutiny and an uproar back home. And if a compromise were to happen, well, both sides would probably call it a loss in some way. It's a lose-lose, really. Now, before we wrap up, I want to make one more point that matters. What Bangladesh has done here, whether you agree with their stance or not, takes conviction, because it would have been easy for them to quietly back down and just say, okay, we'll go, and then hope the storm dies down, and boards do that all the time, to be fair. But Bangladesh's leadership has stood firm, publicly articulating their concerns despite enormous internal and external pressure. That's not just administration, that's leadership. Even if the outcome is uncertain, they've maintained their position through immense pressure, political pressure, administrative pressure, financial pressure, and almost certainly a lot of private conversations that we'll probably never even hear about. And that's not easy for a board that doesn't have unlimited power or influence. That kind of stand is rare in international sport, especially when a World Cup is on the line. So as this story continues to unfold, keep that in mind. This isn't just about fixtures and security reports. It's about how a board navigates the intersection of sport, politics, and perception in a very difficult moment. And right now, nobody really knows how it ends. Let me know your thoughts below, and I'll catch you another time.